Hi, you guys. Leanne Holitza here at the Healing Studio. Okay, give me those comments of, yep, you can hear me. I think I have discovered what the biggest problem is some internet issues on my end. I'm still in the middle of figuring them out, but I'm getting there. But I think today we should be okay, hopefully. So if you can hear me, give me a yay. Okay, thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate it. All right, so let's see. A couple things. I am another Belief Club is starting on Wednesday morning, 10 o'clock Mountain Time. It's a kind of a place where we meet and talk about belief systems and rewiring them. And I also am offering a free kind of intro to channeling on the 13th of August, just to kind of give you a taste of like the class that's coming up in September. So that will be on YouTube Live. Anyway, there should be some fun things happening. Today I'm going to use Kuan Yin, Mercy and Compassion for us from Amanda Ellis. And then I'm also using Black Agate. Isn't it so cute? I'm going to use that for clarity of mind and making easy decisions. For your personal deck, I'm going to use your Alice in Wonderland. Okay, and that one is going to be kind of our me pleases. So if this is the first time that you've ever done this, you just type me please in the comments and I will get you a card for the week after we do our general check-in with the Yantra deck. So, hi everybody. If you haven't been here before with me, I'm Leanne Holitza. I'm an intuitive healer out of Broomfield, Colorado, and I am going to give you your weekly forecast so that you can kind of plan ahead and set your mindset up for the week. Okay? Here we go. All right, so we're starting off at the beginning of the week with a little bit of blocked emotions. I know I've definitely been feeling this myself. There's just this kind of tension. We're not embracing our flow. We are resisting how we're feeling because a lot of our feelings are not feeling so great right now. And so this kind of is telling us, yeah, we know your emotions are stuck. Your helper card, happiness sideways, being the source of your own happiness, okay? Actively doing things to make yourself happy. You know, if you're thinking about your life and what you can do, is it making you happy? And if it's not making you happy, why are you doing it? And then just kind of go from there. Maybe you still have to do it, but find ways to kind of make it pleasurable for you. It is your life force energy after all. All right. And then last but not least, we got the love sideways. So that is just saying that at the end of the week, our minds are still kind of in resistance, okay? It says returning at the bottom. When this card comes sideways, we're not returning to love necessarily. There's actions for us to be taking, and our mind is in the way. Like it's almost like if we say it, we have radical acceptance for things, then we're saying it's okay. And that's not what the guides are asking us to do. They are just simply saying it is happening. This is what it is. And if we can get into a flow state with it, that's where we'll have more progress rather than resistance. Okay? All right, so let's do our 1, 2, 3. So this is your first reading for today. If you're watching live, thanks for watching live. If you're watching later, this is your opportunity to get a card. Now, I would still watch all the way till the end, even if you're watching it later, because we start to get a theme going and we find out that the week is going to be, a little bit more rounded out as far as we start seeing cards 3 times, and that means it's for all of us. Okay? So just tune in. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Which card is for you? All right, here it comes. All right, if you got 1, you've got keep your temper. Don't allow anger to rule you. I think that's pretty straightforward, especially with these stuck emotions we were talking about. The anger might be the easy go-to emotion, but what else is behind the anger? What's the anger asking for? Okay? If you picked 2, you're going to work on following your own good advice, trusting yourself. You know what's best for you. Okay? So, we're good at giving other people advice. We're good at having compassion for other people, but not always good for doing that for ourselves. So just giving yourself an awareness that it's a time to kind of check in with you. If you picked 3, you can't go back to yesterday. Be in the present. Doesn't really matter what's happened up till now. It's built you up to this now self, but now be with now and see what that tells you about your progress. Okay? All righty, let's get going. Again, if you haven't done this before, just type me please in the comments. I'm going to come down the list. I typically get to everybody. So um, if you are at the bottom, which I'm going to say hi to the bottom. Hi, Denise. Hi, Lisa. All right. Hi, Cynthia. I see you down at the bottom, but maybe you're up at the top too. I don't know. I get it. You're okay. All right, here we come. Ready? Stephanie R., me please, with the flowers and stars. You got changed in the night. Okay, so this week you have changed quickly. Lots of things have gone on. It's kind of time to integrate. Okay, so this week would be a good week to just acknowledge what's changed, how it's changed, and what that might be doing to your life now versus how you've been using it in the past. Okay, Miranda Z. You got some choices, but you're feeling blocked or restrained. Okay. So just acknowledging that sometimes too many choices can feel like a lot. And so we just want to make sure that we give ourselves a moment to acknowledge that it still is a choice and free will is there. And that's somewhat the blessing and somewhat the curse, right? So just know that you're going to be kind of in a blocked space with choices this week. Remember the helper card, the advice card, which was to be the source of your own happiness in this. Okay. Kimberly S. Use your time well. Okay. So make every moment count this week. Maybe really pay attention to linear time and then that relative time. That relative time where it's like, that time just flew by or that time is taking forever. But also just working maybe with schedules and making sure you're effectively keeping track of where you're letting yourself leak out into the time and space. Diane S. Painting the roses red, covering up errors. Okay, so kind of check in with that. Where have you been maybe um, kind of there's stuff you just can't fix. I mean, like if you plant the white roses, you can't paint them red, then that fixes it, right? So this week might be a week to reconcile, forgive, and acknowledge that there's just some things we can't change. And I'm sorry. Okay. That's a little bit of sounds a little daunting, I know, but all right, Courtney and Lori. Courtney. Oh, I put this back and shuffled. So they're doubling down with this one. That means I'm going to go ahead and get the little book out. I'm going to read you the little blurb from the story. Okay. It says, "Would you tell me, please," said Alice a little timidly, "why are you painting those roses?" 5 and 7 said nothing, but looked at 2. 2 began in a low voice. "Why? The fact is, you see, miss, here ought to have been a red rose tree, and we put a white one in by mistake. And if the queen was to find out, we should all have our heads cut off, you know." All right. I mean, so sometimes it does. It feels like big consequences, but just be acknowledging, I'm sorry. I'm going to make this right. That kind of thing. Okay. Lori, we might be all doing that, by the way. Second time we've seen it, especially right in a row. That typically means we're going to see that card again, which is the when it's for all of us. Okay, Lori, this says never jam today. Promises never come. Empty words, not living up to it, not living into now. Okay. So this could be the tail chaser of, well, if this happens or when this happens, then I'll do that. Then I'll do this. And it's kind of like, well, it is never going to happen until you decide it's going to happen. So this week would be a good week to decide it's going to happen, whatever it is. Okay. Elizabeth R. Lead the way. Well, we know you know how to do this. Be the leader. Show others how it's done. You can help others, but you don't have to help others by picking them up and doing it for them. Good leaders delegate, are also good at putting out there that, how to get it done and giving empowering. So those are the focuses for you this week. Okay. Eli, you're going to work with belonging to your own dream. Okay. So create your own life vision this week. Spend some time saying, why do I keep this around? Did I want this or did somebody else say that I should have it? It's time for me to just live up to what I want to live up to. That's what this card is saying for you. Okay. Do some visioning this week. Maybe do a vision board or something. Taryn. Oh, I knew it was coming. Painting the roses red, you guys. All right, I'm going to read a little more from the book. This is for all of us now, okay? Not just Taryn and not just Courtney, not just Diane. We've all got to face something right now, okay? So here we go. Working for or being in a relationship with someone who is harsh on those who make mistakes. Feeling forced to cover up errors to avoid punishment, fear of mistakes being discovered, hiding the evidence as consequences, much harsher than the mistake. Feeding that what you need to do to stay safe is no longer reasonable. Okay. So dealing with kind of patterns of trying to avoidance because of the harsh consequences, it's time to just face it. Okay. Melissa and Shannon. Melissa, I can't make this up, guys. All right, same thing. Same thing. Let's see if there's more messages for us. We all make mistakes. Every single one of us upon this planet has made a mistake, misunderstood, done something that wasn't quite correct, and mixed things up terribly. Today, people often complain and want perfection. Much like the dreaded queen, they behave as if they have the right to cut people's heads off to punish them if they do not carry out their assignments perfectly. So careful not to be a perfectionist and being overly harsh on yourself or others this week, okay? All right, Shannon. All must have prizes. Trying to people please, okay? Trying to please everyone. You can't. You can't please everyone, and everyone does get prizes, but they get the prizes that they give themselves, not that you give, okay? So you don't have to take care of everybody. Take care of yourself. All right, Janelle and Donnie, manage to be glad, okay? Create your own happiness regardless of the conditions. Matches up with that helper card. Be the source of your own happiness. Find the ways that you can laugh and giggle and see how it's actually okay. All right, Donnie. Find the lesson, okay? Discover the purpose in the situation. Trust that you are learning. Sometimes when things, the guides always tell me it doesn't have to be harsh or rigid or intense, but that is what we listen to most is the intense stuff. So just give yourself a chance to learn the lesson so that you don't have to keep making it so hard. Janice, for you this week, you got 2 cards. You got the impossible things, which says working through disbelief, imaginative leaps, and fresh perspective, and becoming braver, resilience, experience, growing stronger, fresh perspective. Okay. So you're getting braver and you're believing impossible things like, all right, maybe I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm getting more capable of showing up to the story and being curious. Okay. Cool. Cara and Tatiana. Boop. Cara. All in the golden afternoon. You got inspiration, creative spark, imagination, and conception. This is like the very beginning of the story, okay? So you're just getting going. You don't really know where the journey is going to take you. Start fresh this week, okay? Tatiana, you're going to work with painting the roses red. Now this has come in reverse a couple times too. So I'm going to go to the reverse meaning in this book, okay? So 5th time we've seen this, guys. Refusing to hide mistakes or errors, taking on punishments that is too harsh, refusing to change something that is perfect just as it is, encouraging others to stand together, no longer fearing an oppressive societal expectation or a tyrannical person. So this is kind of like standing up and saying, I know I make mistakes. You do too. And I forgive myself and I don't take your harsh punishment. Thank you very much. All right, Heidi. Heidi, you're working with I want to be a queen. Okay, Heidi, I'm standing in your sovereignty, declaring freedom, passing the test. Congratulate yourself. Celebrate yourself this week, okay? Robin, Austin, and Chris. Robin, you're working with nonsense. It's time to talk sense. And this is where it goes with that painting the roses red card. It's like you're going to be saying to people, stop it. You're being ridiculous. You're measuring the wrong thing. Okay? All right. And Austin, you're going to work with painting the roses red. Shocker. 7th time we worked on this. All right. Mistakes, you guys. We're facing up to our mistakes, especially the ones we cannot ever change. We're forgiven. Sometimes it's a soul contract. Sometimes it just is what it is. Forgiveness is really important to be open to the lesson. Okay. Chris, lead the way. Be a leader. Show others how it's done. You can help others this week, okay? So be in your leadership style and maybe even touch up. I hear from your guides, touch up on your leadership skills. Maybe take a class, read a book, do something that would give you a moment to be in your leadership self. Tanya B, you're growing up. Okay, wanting to grow and experience rejection of perpetual youth. So maturing in your energy and your reactivity. So you're not so reactive and instead you're more grounded and more mature about your responses this week, okay? Emotional regulation is what your guides just said. Tiff W, a moment's regret, okay? Nostalgia, idealizing the past, fearing you've made a mistake. This mistake thing is really up this week, you guys. Well, if you did make a mistake, we're all, better off when we learn from them, right? We'll learn from our mistakes. That's kind of just acknowledging, what are you regretting? And maybe pay attention this week of how regret plays out to making you review things and make things different. All right, Cynthia, got to you here. I know you just typed Mr., but I got it. Falling. Okay, so you are in the unknown, descent, momentum, change. So just be aware that your energy is don't put your arms out. Don't try to stop because you're falling whether you like it or not. And it's time to just surrender to that because if you don't, you'll just get rope burn. Okay. Nicole, you've got a moment's regret. Okay. Nostalgia, idealizing the past, fearing you made a mistake. Okay, so paying attention to where you might want to correct things, where the mistake might be, where the regrets might be, and then getting those lessons learned and making right what you can make right. And then also kind of, letting things go if it's time to let them go. Forgiveness. National Geographic, you are growing up. Okay, so wanting to grow and experience, rejection of perpetual youth. So you're going to be more and more mature along the way, letting yourself do that kind of self-regulation thing this week, okay? Joe, your focus is going to be on uncertainty. Choose who you will become. Okay, so nobody's going to tell you anymore. I know it feels like we'll never get there, right? To really truly know ourselves. It's like always, every day, a journey. Yep, it is. And you get to decide who you are going to be and why you are choosing it. Max, you're going to paint the roses red. You guys, they are coming up with this today, okay? So soul contracts, whatever's going to happen this week, we have got to be willing to stand up and see that it's okay for us to acknowledge that was a mistake and whoops, and now what? So that is, I think, the 9th time we've seen that card. So come on now, that's got to be something significant. Kelly and Matthew. Kelly, you're going to want to get out in nature this week and have some communication with the flower energies, elementals, fairies. You might even make a little fairy garden where you can put out little shiny objects and trinkets to get the fairies to work with you. That's always a good thing. Matthew, you're going to want to focus. You got 2 cards. You got Never Jam Today, which is chasing your tail around the what if I'll have it tomorrow, or when this happens, then I'll get it. And you also got, I wonder what will happen next. Ready to adventure, precipice of change, pause before action. Okay, so know that wherever you're trying to get to, first a pause, first a moment to just take a deep breath, reconcile what's gone on, then go forward. Okay, Kimberly P. and Juan Carlos. Kimberly, you are working with who in the world are you? Getting to know the new you, okay? Integrating the changes, letting yourself see that you maybe, a lot of times we're just trying to freaking heal ourselves, right? And do we ever just stop and go, okay, well, now that I've healed that, who am I now? I know. All right, here we go. Juan Carlos, you're going to work with nonsense. Okay, it's time to talk sense. This is where Alice basically says no to the crazy queen and to the whole situation. So this is week for you to just say no to the crazy and only be in the things that make sense to you. Okay, and if you're the one being crazy, your guides just added, go ahead and say no to yourself too. Jenny B, Uh-oh, third time for this one, you guys. So we got forgiveness, making up for mistakes, and a moment's regret. What's going to happen this week, you guys? Okay, let's see. It was much pleasanter at home, thought poor Alice, when one wasn't always growing larger and smaller and being ordered about by mice and rabbits. I almost wish I hadn't gone down that rabbit hole. And yet, it's rather curious, this sort of life. Yep. All right. We got it. Moment's regret. Make up for our mistakes. Whoops, we did it. And let's just kind of make it right now. Okay. Christy, Kira, and Finn. Christy, believe strange encounters. Okay. So go ahead and give yourself a moment to just believe in magic, believe in the things that people have told you that you're silly to believe in. Why not this week? Okay. Especially with all this regret and forgiveness needed. Kira, you're going to work with following your own good advice. Trust yourself and know what's best for you. Nobody else knows what goes on behind your eyes. You are the one experiencing life every day behind those eyes. So follow your own good advice. Finn, I shuffled. Third time's a charm for this card too. Follow your own advice, guys. All right, doubling down on that one. So we've got follow our own advice, give ourselves our mistakes, and know we're going to have some regrets. Here we go. I'm going to read the little blurb. Come, there's no use in crying like that, said Alice to herself rather sharply. I advise you to leave off this minute. She generally gave herself very good advice, though she was very seldom followed it. Okay, so give yourself a little push of your own advice, okay? Aaron T., you got some uncertainty happening, okay? Choose who you will become. You don't have to always follow what everybody else is projecting onto you. It's okay, and you can be as different as you would like. That's the fun part, is we are not meant to be homogenous. Carrie M., you're going to be working with managing to be glad, create the happiness regardless of conditions. Okay, so being the source of your own happiness, finding the play, finding the giggles wherever you can. Carly and Hannah. Carly, you can't go back to yesterday, okay? Be in the present. Don't idealize the past. That never works. It's never right anyways. Just be in the now and see what's here, okay? Hannah, belong to your own dream. Create your own life. Do your own vision. Write it down. Journey on it. Go look into it after you've accomplished something and say, yes, I did that kind of thing. Okay. Crystal, Isabel, Genevieve, and Chris. Crystal, you're bringing nonsense for the third time's a charm. Okay. So this makes it for all of us. It's kind of a curious mix, you guys. It says, the queen turned crimson with fury, and after glaring at her for a moment like a wild beast, began screaming, off with her head, off with nonsense, said Alice very loudly and decidedly, and the queen was silent. Okay, so we're going to just put our foot down about some things. Okay, Isabel, you're going to be working with mortality this week, which is life is bright, beautiful, and yours to live. Okay, so this is remembering all things come to an end, and that's just the way this earth plane works. So enjoy the process. Okay, Genevieve, you're going to be working with finding the lesson, discovering the purpose of a situation, and trusting that you're learning. All right, give yourself a nice awareness that even when stuff's hard, they're nice. They're just lessons. Chris, you are working with it's always tea time, eternity, endless moments, and repetition. This is like Mad Hatter Tea Party. Everybody's crazy here. We're all crazy here. That's what this card is saying. You're like always in the crazy. It's just a loop of crazy. So might as well take a deep breath and accept that you're showing up to the tea party. Lisa, you're working with impossible things, working through disbelief, imaginative leaps, fresh perspectives. I mean, if I would have told you 15 years ago that you were going to be getting a reading from me on YouTube Live on a Sunday morning, you would have been like, what? That's like, how's that going to work? Well, here we are. All right. Cynthia, we got you. Thanks for putting in the live too. Denise S. Okay, you've got use your time well. Make every moment count. So this is that advice to take a, kind of an acknowledgement of, I'm going to, plan my day out, pay attention to where I might be leaking to linear time, and to let myself just be expansive in nature with time, because sometimes time can be very expansive and sometimes it can feel very contracted. And speaking of that time, we still have 5 minutes left together. So I'm going to summarize what these cards all brought and as how they come together. But if you're hanging out watching and you haven't said me please in the comments, feel free. I'm going to throw a card for my husband real quick. All right. Focus for the week for you is forget who you are. Conditioning falls away. Memory no longer defines you. You get to be whoever you have showed up to be. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's summarize. And like I said, if you're still hanging out there, give yourself a chance to acknowledge that you are there and say me please. So let's look into the themes of the week that we have come up with because of the cards keep showing up. The one that's the most prevalent is obviously painting the roses red. We're going to work on correcting our errors. Okay. And we're also not going to do this with harshness. We're going to acknowledge that, that the throwing everybody in prison for doing little things doesn't really make us all a better society, right? Maybe some acts deserve that, but mostly we can do restorative justice, right? But we do have a moment's regret. Okay. So don't idealize the past, you guys. I mean, I've been seeing this a lot with a lot of things. And yes, I'm glad my internet is working too. Thank you, honey. A moment's regret. So, looking back, this leader was better, or that time period was better. Not really, you guys, not really. So don't tell yourself stories like that. Be in the present moment. And, if there's mistakes to be corrected, let's do it. We've also got follow your own good advice. So trusting yourself and what you would tell other people is the way to go. And we've also got nonsense, where we're going to put our foot down and we're going to say, we're going to stop taking that, aggressive, off with their head energies. And we're going to say, we are going to make sense of what's going on. We are going to make sense of what we have outlined for our life. Whew, sounds like a lot, but I think I kind of get the sense of what this could be about. It does, I'm not gonna lie, it does make me a little nervous because, it sounds obviously like the unpleasant stuff kind of boils to the surface. But I think our relationship with that regulation is one of the things we have to work on. All right, Karen, I see you just joining us here. Let me get you a card. We do have a few minutes left, so if anybody else is hanging out, please feel free to say me please. All right, Karen, your card is changed in the night. You have changed quickly. So allowing yourself to acknowledge that change is important to integrate and not just to run away from, and just to be kind of, aware of that it's a big deal, all the changes that you've made. And it's okay to kind of put that in perspective for yourself so that you can let yourself be in your growth, and you can celebrate, you guys. Sometimes when we're in these periods, we get so afraid of the unknown that we get a little bit, I don't know, we just get a little bit rushing, trying to push ourselves into a place where we won't necessarily accept what's happening as the truth. We just want something to be different. And sometimes we first have to just go, no, this is happening. This is what it is. So I just feel like what we're doing right now with ourselves is a lot of resistance. So I think it would be best if we just all took a deep breath and went to be amazing. All right. So I am posting these things as shorts for you guys to review in case you need to look back at the week. I've been trying to do that on Mondays when it lets me download it and then trim it. But if you guys want these things to continue, hit subscribe, hit the bell button, join me on these things, and we will journey together. And if you are looking for, just kind of some more information about certain things, you can just kind of peruse my YouTube station. I've got quite a few videos about grounding and that kind of stuff. So I invite you to play around with me. All right. I think we did it. Have a wonderful week. Bye.